Hi everyone, my name is Lucy. I'm Designware's marketing director, and today I'm very happy to introduce you to Sam. Sam is the CEO and co-founder of several companies, including Briance and Soy Crispies. And I met Sam a few weeks ago at a no-code event that we hosted here in Montreal, and he told me everything about how he built some of these businesses using no-code platforms. And I thought it would be really interesting to have him asking you a few questions so that he could share his experience and insights on how entrepreneurship and no-code intersect. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm so glad to be here with you and really excited to show you the potential of no code in 2022. I think there's a lot to learn and there's so many things you can do. So I just want to give you a little glimpse of what I was able to do, how the businesses I was able to build. I'm now on my second project, as you said, Soy Crispies, but I have built a whole ecosystem for a cleaning company in Montreal. So we're talking a website, but also an internal app for employees. So I think it's really great to have an environment that I was able to create for a couple $100. And it's if you compare it to what you usually see when hiring a developer or a web designer, I think it's just amazing the potential you have there. So even if you're starting out with no money, I think you can literally do anything with no code nowadays. So
Yeah, I completely agree. But before we get started and you show us what you've built for Brian's and Soy Crispies, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background?
so yeah, actually, I'm not from a web developer background at all, and I think that's also what is nice with no-code tools is you don't need any education on web design uh, no, or coding at all. That's the whole thing. So my background is about communication marketing. So I don't really have, although I did have a class in web design, in web programming. But I will tell you, I went there for a whole semester, and the things I was able to build within many weeks was like 3% of what I was able to do in the same amount of time with no code. So I
Was that
yes,
a was
you
that
could
a hate word type of page?
yeah, kind of. And it was like a fake hotel destination or something. But um, yeah, I think no code is even more interesting nowadays for web developers who know how to code because they will just speed up your process so much.
100%.
I think at this point in time, it's not an option to just build a website from scratch. It doesn't make sense in terms of time, in terms of what like for example, what if you want to change your a section of your website like a week later after the whole design? You will not have to go over and over again in your website and rebuild everything. So that's why website used to cost like $50,000 because there was $50,000 worth of time, you know. and if and if no code tools are here now and they're cheap, is because they're just so fast to use. So yeah, when no code started arriving, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my god, is this what I've been waiting for? And then I started my first business, which was I was doing blogging. So I did build a website on WordPress, and to tell you, WordPress is kind of dead to me too. it's it's a lot of back and forth trying to fix things. It's not that reliable, Like there's a lot of bugs. And what makes WordPress great is the integration of many plugins. But at the same time, it's also what makes it bad because when you have many plugins working together, sometimes they just stop working, or one steps on another, and then you don't understand what's going on. So yeah, uh, for WordPress to be great, you have to have multiple plugins that also fit together. So that was
It's a challenge.
that's also hard to manage. So yeah, I did food blogging for a couple of years,
Okay.
and then I moved on to Briance, which is the cleaning company that I have built in 2019 into cleaning, which is kind of rare. She was doing home cleaning, business cleaning, and she really liked it. And someday she came to me and we were talking in the car, and she said, you know what, Sam, maybe I should build my own business. Like, you inspire me. I want to do something like you. I want to build my own business. And I said, well, you really could nowadays, like with no code tools, you're able to build a website and a booking software really easily. So why not just try it, And 2 days later, I came back to her and I said, I want to do it. I want to build the whole website for you. I want to build everything from the ground up. I'm really happy to help you out with this. And I came up with the name, and I was ready to move, And within a month, we launched Briance and the whole website, and we started. And 2 months after, we were full. So within 3 months, we went from 0 to fully booked schedule. And then couple months into it, we were up to maybe 6 months after that. So total of 9 months, we had about 10 employees.
That's really super impressive. I think that what I find very interesting with the Briance story is that the fact that you knew from the get-go that it would be fast and that you wouldn't have to spend those 5 months building a website, let alone spending 50K on a website.
Exactly.
It really motivated your friend and you to just get started, and there's no, it's just
absolutely.
It's just easy to start. It's not something that you have to prepare mentally for a month ahead before you get started, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and they say that motivation needs action to be upheld, and I feel like no code helps you do everything so fast. So it's so motivating, It's so motivating if you can tell that within the next 4 weeks you're able to launch a final product. It's insane. Well, maybe not a final product, but a first viable product,
Draft.
A minimum viable product. Yeah, and well, I think you're saying it's impressive, but I think nowadays it's possible. I didn't do anything amazing. I just think that it's impressive from comparing a couple years ago. If you compare that to a couple years ago, building a whole website and launching a system was really hard to do. It's so much work. But today you have literally no excuses. The tools are there. You just have to learn them, and they're not that complicated to use. And of course, then you have design choices. Not everyone is that comfortable making design choices. But then again, I think most businesses, they don't rely only on that. It's okay if the website is not perfect, it doesn't need to be perfect. The point is to try something.
Yeah, and now there's way more no-code tools out there, which means that there are different tools for different people, and there are, for instance, web builders that are heavily template-based. And if you don't have a creative background, then you don't know how to make these design decisions. Well, you don't necessarily have to. Maybe you can just pick a template and start with that. And if on the other side of the spectrum you are very design focused, then there's also a platform for you. Okay, so can you show us what Briance looks like?
Absolutely. So that's the homepage for Briance. Also, the thing is that this is a Montreal-based business, so we have the website to be in both English and French. So here I have the English side, and then we have the French side here.
Very Montreal.
So yeah, so this is the home page, and it's pretty simple. So you have a site section here, and then you have the main content. The site section here is always there throughout the website, and then you have what's included, some features, and at the end here of the page, you will also have some buttons to go check the other web pages. And then you have the footer, which is the same throughout the website too.
I really like how you have your sticky column on the right and then the scrolling thing. Yeah.
Right here, yeah. Yeah, so basically what we had in mind here is was to create was to create trust from the ground up. I think what most businesses, home cleaning businesses, I'll just write here, for example, home cleaning, and just pick this one, for example. I think a lot of cleaning businesses look like this, and always using stock images, you know, like this woman here is probably not working in this company, and and I think a big issue for most customers was to build trust before having a stranger coming into their homes. So we had to make sure we get a trusting feeling right away. And we made a lot of choices based on that. So blue, for example, blues are in our palette and they inspire trust. Then we have pictures of the team here. And then we have a description of the home manager that will be assigned to you. So here you have your assigned home manager. Then we have LinkedIn linked here. So we use LinkedIn to keep building a rapport with the customers. So if someone wants to, and we do have a website where we can see we have a tool where we can see the web activity of our user on our website, and a lot of people go check, you know, a lot of people go check, and they want to know who we are, then, because they're letting a stranger in their home, so they want to know. So this was so important to us that we made sure that it was always in view on this site here. And of course, the Google reviews is also a great way to build trust.
Yeah, so everyone can see that it's real. Everyone can see that there's a lot of transparency.
Exactly, and then we've even put a 3 years with Briance here. You know, this whole section is basically about trust. And you can see it every time you scroll through the website on any pages. And then I'll show you the other pages. So here we have a cleaning checklist. This is pretty simple. We're just showing people what we're cleaning. So all of this.
Sorry, I really like the drawer option, because when you look at your pages, they look really clean, but in the same time, there's a lot of information. Like there's absolutely everything you need to understand what the business is about, what what type of service you're gonna get, who's gonna provide it to you, and like all the information is accessible, but it doesn't look overwhelming at all. That's really nicely done.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of the challenge too, right? Because you wanna. I mean, it didn't always look like this. We used to have a page that was so filled with information. You have to kind of manage how to give a lot of information, but also not give it all at the same time, and let people kind of look for it, you know? And yeah, so then I'll just move to support. Then, of course, you have some general questions answered here, and a section to contact us. And then finally,
the contact us page, how does that work? Do you synchronize with a Google Sheet or something like that? Like, do you also create your own kind of information workflows?
We have a customer management system, which is called Missive. And what's great about Missive is that it connects your Facebook Messenger platform. It connects your emails. It even connects, you have the option to have a chat here on your website. I did have it before, but I disabled it because I'm not working full time, so I don't want people to have expectations of quick replies. and and then you have chat, you have Facebook, it integrates emails, obviously, you have even Twitter. And the great thing about this is that it's completely free. The only thing is that you have access to 15 days history on the app. But if for example you want to go check some emails that you sent a couple months ago, you just go in your email provider mailbox and you will find them. It will just not be as cute and polished. And so Missive is a great option. It's free to use, and you have templates. For example, I have a bunch of email templates that we have for regular questions, so it's just so easy to fill out and send emails. So basically, when people send an email here, it goes into Missive. I reply with a template, or I just answer the customer, and done. It's nothing complicated here. And we have a pricing page, which I was able to build in a day because we had a lot. The booking process is usually people fill out a first section here, and then it brings you to the booking page where you can see pricing. But I was kind of getting tired of people like asking us, what's the pricing? And I don't want to share my email before seeing the price. I was like, okay, we understood. So within a day, I built a pricing page, and I just put in some key features here and the pricing here.
That's really cool. Like, when you build a website, you strategize for certain customer kind of journeys, and maybe initially you thought it would be best to collect the email address first, and then you realize that it creates some friction, and you're able to just change something like that. That could just take 3 months, otherwise in a day. That's pretty amazing.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing is that even if you like, that's not the first version of our website. Also, I should note, because that's the whole point with no code, is that it's so flexible. And reality is, I'll guarantee you 100%. Once you launch your website, within the first week, you will notice things that need to change. And within a year, you will realize that most of your website needs to change. So it's like it just happens, okay? Like, when you test a product, you see customer feedback that oftentimes is hard to ignore, and that's the point here. We noticed that a lot of people just wanted to check the price, and they would go here and look for the pricing, and oftentimes we're full, so we don't take customers right away. We have to put them on a wait list. But then we would contact customers, and we don't even know if they're interested with the price, So now, once we have people go through this step, we're a bit more sure that they are okay with the price, because the price is shown on the website really easily, So yeah, and then you have the booking page here. So once again, like I told you, we have that section here that is always here. But then at booking, we made it once again a focus point. This is your home manager. We have a picture here in Griffintown of your home manager. We just want you to build already a relationship with them, and you're not even booked, So you choose your condo size, you fill out your information, and then you go to booking, and then you launch the booking tool. And then, as you can see here, the booking tool is a whole other tool that we had to use, which is separate from Webflow, because I don't know if it's possible, but I was not able to build my own booking software from web. Well, I'm not saying I don't think it's possible. I'm pretty sure it's not possible. So that booking software is really made for cleaning bookings. It's called ZenBooker. And it's just an app that allows you to manage customers, create charges, everything like that. And nothing fancy here. It's just a booking website, a booking software that we integrated with Webflow. So here you can enter your address, your condo size, and then you go through the whole process here. So that's just a booking software, which is very specific to our business because we're a cleaning business. But I think the point here is to remember that you can also use different no-code tools and build your own ecosystem here. So yeah, that's the Briance website, and of course I had to get it optimized for mobile too. Because most users will get to your website on mobile nowadays, so that it made more sense for me to design for mobile first and then think for desktop.
It's somehow a little bit easier to start with because mobile is harder, right? The screen is smaller.
It is harder for me, at least, designing for mobile, especially if you have a first concept for a desktop website. For me, it's harder to translate this page into mobile than using a mobile page and then putting it into desktop. We're talking design wise. So I'll show you what I did recently. I built a blog section for Briance. I'm having a hard time to zoom.
I love how the illustrations overlay in between sections. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's something that when you're designing, if you know you will have an overlap here on Webflow, when you're designing on Webflow, if you know you have something overlapping here, it will change the way you will think of it in terms of programming. And when I say programming, of course I'm saying no code, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I made this page here. I wanted to make it super clean, super simple, and here you have it too for different articles.
Yeah, so just to follow up on what you just said, like programming versus programming in no code. I think it's an interesting notion, but I think it's exactly what it feels like, right? Like you're applying the same layout settings that you would be if you were coding, or just using a visual tool to do that. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to think about how the page is built. Like you are going to use containers that are going to be placed differently, whether you want the sections to overlap or be side by side. Like those, it's not technically difficult at all, but it's just something that you have to think about.
Yeah, you still have to build it, but it's much easier.